Hi there, welcome to a new lecture on Microsoft Intune, and within this short lecture we will learn about how to collect Microsoft Intune logs, or sometimes we call it as the MDM Diagnostic Logs. And coming back to the log collection, there are a couple of ways that you could collect it. The first method and the easiest method, starting from 2021 February, you could collect directly the logs directly from Microsoft Intune portal. So you don't need to visit the end user computer and collect the logs. All the required logs will be automatically remotely can be collected. And the second step would be if you want to collect it in any case manually for some reason, I'm going to show you how to collect that. And I'll also show you how to collect it from a command line. And you could also limit within the command line. If you run this MDMDiagnosticsTool.exe, by the way, this command line or this .exe file is built-in available starting from Windows 10. And in case if you do not have, that means you might be running, I think, starting from 1809. It should be available. If not, you might be running with the older version build. But this tool is available, and this is the tool will be automatically collects the logs to a specific temporary folder. So if you just run -output to a different directory, it will give you complete logs. Just in case if you want to run a specific area, let's say when I say area, I'm talking about the autopilot, or maybe you're trying to device provisioning policies, or maybe TBM policies. These are the things that you have some issues, then you would be running -area of MDMDiagnosticTool.exe -area and the area name, any of these like autopilot, device provisioning, TPM, and then give hyphen as a cap. That's going to be zip format. If you give the cap, and then it's gonna output to a folder path. So that's how it's going to use. And if you look at the registry keys, these are the couple of the registry keys that are populated or will be available. Not just the event viewer, it also collects from your files and events, and also HKCU and HKLM and sub area. All of these things will be collected on each of these categories. And if you see a little bit further on this screen, if you see here, TPM is a TPM area, and this is the MDM diagnostic path where you should be able to find out under HKLM software Microsoft. MDM diagnostic under area, you have couple of different areas. So you could see here 4 different areas that you could get the logs. Just in case if you want to collect any of the logs, you should be able to use any of this area name to scope the log files for further investigation. That being said, let's jump into the quick demo to find out how to collect it one by one. So starting from the number 1, which is the collecting logs directly from the portal, we will be showing you that, and followed by each of these subsections. Collecting MDM diagnostic logs directly from Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center makes it really easy, and you should be able to collect automatically these logs. So you could go to devices and go to Windows devices, and then pick the device. For example, I have the specific device I would like to collect the log. So I'll just enter the device name and click on that device, and you would get here in the left side the navigation. And on top you have an option called Collect Diagnostics. So when you click on this button, it's going to collect the diagnostics if the device is powered on state. And later point, you should be able to download these logs directly from Monitor under Device Diagnostics Logs. So you could click here. Otherwise, you should be go to Device Diagnostics to collect the log. And you see here the current action is upload pending. It means that the device is still trying to upload, and it might take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes sometimes. And if you see here in a couple of minutes, the collection of the diagnostic is completed. You should be able to see here client diagnostics action is completed, and also under device diagnostics it's still pending status. So once it is completed, you should be able to download once you click on this button or hyperlink button. So we'll wait for some more time. Let's wait for a few minutes and do a quick refresh. That should an option to download. Now I get the option to download and it's initiated. So it's a time and then it is also, so you could see here no state. And I should be able to unzip, verify what exactly this log file or you'll have a different files with random folder numbers. And if you see here, anywhere it started 1 to 70 plus. Not see such kind of file has been, or there could be some communication problem. That's why the upload was not fully successful, but it has uploaded, meaning not all the files, a partial files got uploaded. So make sure that you must have to get very similar this kind of experience if you're watching this after 2022 December, because in the past it used to come only the folder names. Now we also have a proper structure where it is actually coming. For example, the 76 folder is actually Windows temporary folder for Office click to run specific log. So this is how it, so this will be very useful in showing the proper logs, and in case if there is no value, it's not gonna collect that log. I mean the empty files. Consolidated would be the results.file. So if you just open this results, this is an XML file that will talk about what are the registry keys it is trying to collect, what are the files it is trying to collect. For example, what files, cap format it has collected, like this, every possible information. So this is very useful in terms of, let's say you want to troubleshoot for Win32 apps deployment issue. So you would definitely need the Intune management extension log, right? So instead of you ask the user, you would remotely collect it, unzip that folder, and then you would go here. For example, in this case 58, which is talking about Intune management extension logs, and simply open up the Intune management extension log and troubleshoot further. Let me open that into CM read, right? So I'll just close this log file, try to open the CM. You could see here errors or the warnings, whatever it is, that entire and easy to actually read from CM trace. But in general, this is what MS Info, NetSH, App Locker specific, BitLocker, Sensor specific, many things it has collected, and DZIM information, also Defender, and also some of the key registry key, current version for net settings, cloud experience. So all these registry keys, maybe you could put it on your sandbox to verify in case if you want to re-simulate that, or you could open up what it is. For example, ATP specific settings, what are the values it is actually validated by opening in a notepad. Now I don't want to do everything like this, but I wanted to manually view the logs. How would I do? Simply go to the device. In this case, this is my Windows 10 device, or Windows 10 device which is already enrolled. So if I just go back to settings here, this is the second method that we are talking about to collect the logs manually. Instead of, if I'm the end user or I have access to the end user, how would I collect the logs? So simply click on access and info button. You have an option here, export the logs or generate the logs. This is going to generate C:users, public, documents, and MDM diagnostics. Simply export it, and later point you simply point to C:users, public, and big downloads documents, and then MDM Diagnostics. This is where it's gonna show you the logging. So this is a simple diagnostic report in a HTML format, which will talk about policies that are getting applied here for this device. Example, enrollment configuration source and target source, it is getting, and MDM policies that I have configured from my tenant, it is getting applied. For example, you could see here BitLocker specific settings are getting applied. Like that, whatever the settings that you are able to see here, these all are coming directly from my Intune configuration, because I have a lot of settings are configured with the baselines. That's why I'm getting, if you have very less things, and this will be very useful in terms of viewing in a single point of directly see that, hey, this is where the communication problem has. Then you show you within this HTML and find out maybe a certificate problem, it will show up. Okay, these are the live examples, like a certificates or communication issues. Directly it will be in within this report in a red color text, and you should be immediately able to add in, right? So these are the things that I have explained. Now let's move to another point. I want to collect, because this is actually showing only HTML. I want it in a such a way, for example, in a in this case we have actually collected this entire folder, right, the logs format. So similar format, I want to collect it from a command. You don't have any option from a GUI like create. This is what it is actually. The instead of that, if you want a debug level logs, you have to do it from a command. So there is a MDM diagnostic tool, which is the exe file. This will be available in your Windows System 32. Since it is in the Windows System 32, you should be able to. So this is the exe file that can generate the logs. So the uses of this would be, we discussed, time for us to generate the logs. So simply click as -out and give a folder name. So in my case, I'll be creating a folder called example. So I want the log should be generated here. Simply I'll give like this. So it takes some time to generate. Just go back here. I get a proper for the logs, and this is mostly for the enrollment and diagnostic specific. So if you remember, this is the one opened, right, and this is a similar one which we have, and this one will have the similar, but depth information will be there, XML form. And these are the AAD enrollment specific and PowerShell, that's a Windows Shell specific, and enrollment specific diagnostic events will. That means by default, if you remember PPT, it is actually showing for only device enrollment. So the next command what you have to choose would be the, instead of the out, you have to give now as an area and then give as an autopilot or device provisioning or TPM. So based on that, it actually generates the required logs. I'm creating a folder called autopilot with a making directly from a command prompt, and later point I'm actually executing the same command, this time with the area, and the autopilot is the scope area that we wanted to collect the logs. In a cab stands here is just going to be zip, so just click on it. So it's going to take some time to collect all back here, but in this case it has failed to collect the logs, access denied. If you look at this command prompt normal mode, so this has to be run with the administrative rights. So let's run the same command and make sure that you have to give here ending with a cap, because you have here specified as a cap. Okay, and then click enter. It's going to create that file. So this is collecting of the file is available. Same thing goes in case if you want to collect TPM specific. So this is a virtual machine what I'm trying to do, so I might get a little error, but apart from that I should be able to collect log. It's fine, but rest of the things will generate it for me. And same thing for other areas that you want to do it. For example, I want to device provisioning, so I should be able to, based on the requirements that I have. So let me open up and show you. You see here I have collected a log and also for the TPM. So you might be wondering if you're the first time viewing these kind of files, what to do. So this is nothing but a cap format, a file extension as .cap. You all know the file extension of .zip format, right, or .rar or .7zip, same format. If you just double click it, you'll see all the files. Or you could use your 7zip if you have, or maybe WinRAR, or maybe zip WinZip, extract it, or simply double click to open and say copy or extract. So let's say I want these all extracted to my desktop with autopilot folder. Extracted and go back to my desktop and look at my logs. I could see all the logs that are specific. And I have here UFI specific data, also MDM Diagnostics. So not every possible information autopilot is automatically collected for us. Autopilot. Same thing goes for using the MDM Diagnostics and the Windows System 32. Just in case if you're on an autopilot screen, this is a command you would be pressing command prompt, entering and by inserting it just for additional. And now if you look at my registry keys, this is very check the areas, all other would be under HKLM, that's a local machine software, Microsoft Diagnostics, And if you look at some of the values it is trying to collect events, you need to have registry value. Let's see, from the application events I want XYZ specific event select. Same thing goes for TPM and device events. That's how Microsoft is managing. Just in case if you do not get the diagnostic settings, just go to Tenant administration and device diagnostics. Make sure that these two buttons are enabled. Logs remotely.